Okay. And we are live. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining me. I've been waiting, since last month to be able to have you on. Such a pleasure. Thank you. And we've been chatting backstage. That's why we're a little late getting started. But it's Thursday. I'm not used to doing an afternoon on a Thursday. So there may be other shows. But thank you for coming up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me. I'm so honored to be here. And thank you for being patient with me because these last few months have been so busy but I'm
I
seeing
hear you.
it's clearing out some. So I'm liking that. But thank you for being patient with me.
Oh, well, thank you for being patient for me for waiting to the last minute right behind my backstage. But there's really this year I just finally hit 800. So anybody watching back, thank you for your support. For 2 years now on the channel.
You
I
just hit
appreciate.
800 subscribers.
Yeah, the other day. Yes.
Congratulations.
I mean, for me, it's nice to see the numbers going up, but like I tell a lot of people, it's about not necessarily the 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 quantity, but the quality of the people that subscribe, that come back and Earl, hello, Earl.
Hello. Hello,
And
Earl.
and thank you, Earl. You are one of the ones that helped me get there. And this is my girl right here. Hey, girl. Hey, this is Allison. She's Aries Girl Tarot. I do the Friday
Hello.
night shows with her, and
Yes.
she
Yep.
sometimes joins Jackie and I for our investigative tarot when we look into cold cases and
Yes.
stuff on my
Yes.
channel. So, hi, Saskia. So the notifications must be dropping. Wonderful, and I just know that moving forward this year, I just keep, because there's certain people that come into your life and then they kind of, rotate out. And I always say, Spirit, well, start bringing me people in whose energy is like mine that I can be myself with, relax. I know are genuine and are authentic because for me, authenticity is my word for this year. And I'm really working hard on that and doing that with my channel. And that's when I started meeting you. Meeting Diana. I met, Linda De Gonzalez started coming out, Viviani, and all these people that have been coming onto my channel have just been wonderful. Jackie's Crystal Moon, Ramon, Moon Scarab, Nancy, Crohn's Intuition, and I have our Divine Feminine every Monday. It's wonderful. I can just relax and be myself and not have to, feel like I got to perform a certain way or, you know what I
Yes.
mean? It's just natural, like talking to you backstage. This is the first time Kelly and I have actually been able to talk, you know, and it was just like somebody I knew over the last few years. Hey girl, how's it going? How's it going?
Right. Right.
I like that kind of energy.
It just like we're just, we're just getting caught up.
Hey
Hi,
Jay, and this is
Jay.
another sweetheart I met. It was through one of Valerie's Zoom groups. I got to meet Jay. I got to read. That's how I got to read with Linda. Linda and I were like chatters before we even had our own channels. I mean, our community is just growing exponentially, and it's a beautiful thing. So, and I met Saskia through Sahadna's channel, Integrative Healing. So, hello, Saskia. Earl's on his lunch. Whoops. Earl's on his lunch break. Well, I hope you enjoy your lunch,
Yeah.
Earl.
Have a wonderful
And
lunch.
speaking of Jackie, Jackie just
Hello.
popped in.
Hi.
Hello. My peeps are showing up. Um, so yeah, I just wish I can I just wish I can call forth lottery numbers like I can sometimes people in chat. I'll be talking about them and boom, there they are. They pop up in the chat. It's like, okay, now where's my numbers?
Well, and that happened just the other day when you were on a live. I'm guessing you must have just said that I was going to be coming on, and all of a sudden, boom!
You popped in at the very end. Yes. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is way cool. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I
taken a little while because I mean, Kelly, your channel is growing. You're doing wonderful things. So when I have guests on my channel, especially for the first time, like today, I'm just going to give the reins over to you and share with people in my chat who may not know who you are, and let you share who you are, your channel, what you do, and whatever you would like to share, especially anything that you got coming up too on your channel.
Oh boy.
Where
Well,
do I start?
Yeah, no. I just sometimes talking about myself, I just don't always feel the most comfortable doing that. But um, I I am Kelly from Calihealer. We moved out to California about 8 years ago. No, I think it's seven or eight. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's then I started an Instagram channel, and I decided to go use the name Kelly Healer because I had clients here, and but I initially had started in Minnesota. I started doing healing about 15 years ago, and it's similar to Reiki. I'll do energy work, cord cutting. My sessions are long; they're about 2 hours long, and I literally can feel the chords in people's body when I tune into their bodies. I feel I don't necessarily see them, but I can feel them. I can feel them in my body. I feel like a pinching sensation, or I'll
Mhm.
feel like a pain, and I know that there's an energetic cord there. And so when I'm working with a client, I go in and I remove the cord and send it out into the universe. Um, and all of
Exactly.
this done for everybody's highest good. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
And and
Exactly.
so anyway, I've been doing that, and I've been doing it kind of started with runes probably back in the 90s when I was young and didn't even really know.
Hmm.
I was on a trip out here to California, and I was just really intrigued by them. And so that's kind of how it started. But when I when I was around 6, I was hearing voices. I was seeing I say spirit, but people that I'd crossed over, I was able to see them, and then I was able to hear them. I mean, they were talking, and I
And
did shut that.
angels.
Yeah,
I see
but
your angel wings. I love those.
oh, thank you. It really got to be too much for me. As a kid, I would ask my family members, are you hearing these voices? And they were like, no, no, no. Well, I knew
Mm.
I knew it wasn't normal, and it was overwhelming. And after a while, I just told them that they had to stop, and they did. And so then, I just went on, and it wasn't until I was probably in my teens, I was out here, and was I was at a bookstore, and I found some runes, and I bought them, and then went on to get married and have kids, and
Oh,
I
so
think.
your mom. Okay.
Yeah, yep. I have my youngest will be 30 now in May, and I have my oldest son is
Wow.
30, 33. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been married 35, going on 35 years. Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's I do healing, you know, it it kind of turned into a business. I don't like to look at it as a business. I like to look at it me being of service. And I don't even look at it as being me. I'm just the vessel that my angels and guides and God work through.
Nice. Now also you join Allie on her channel, and along with the Bookers, who we've had on a couple Friday nights ago with Allison and I, and also with Diana. And I know you and I've been talking about we got to do a paranormal show together some night, because boy, the stories, that we can share. But you also do, so you contribute to, or I don't say contribute to, but no, you do. You contribute your knowledge, your experiences, your insight to when people come to Allie's channel for dream interpretations. Now, do you use card? I think you use cards, so I think you
Yeah.
mostly. Because I know I
Yeah.
can't always make those late night ones. So, do you use card? I know you said runes, but do you also use cards, pendulum? What else do you like to use? What are your favorite tools that you like to?
When I'm working with a client, I like to channel a lot of the information, but and so, I will sit for, you know, hours go into each of the clients that I have, because I go into meditation, and I channel information for them, and then I also do cards. And so anything that can bring them healing, insight, any guidance for their healing journey while they're here on earth is kind of what I do. But it's mainly I have a couple decks of tarot cards, but I don't have very many. Just a couple. I do have oracle cards, and
I'm sure you love crystals.
I do. I do. The whole, I'm covered.
I like her. She's like crystals. And she's been to Sedona. I've been to Sedona. I used to live near it. So
yes, that's what I found out the other night in chat, that you used to live in Flagstaff
for about 8 years. That's where I met Shan. And we really would love, we want to go to Oregon, but Shan's like, if I ever really do hit that Powerball, maybe we can just look into Sedona. I said, oh, well, we could have 2 houses.
Right.
Spend a few months in Sedona, a few months up in Oregon. But no, I used to love, because Flagstaff was beautiful, but it was hard for me in those years that I was there, even though it was beautiful. And for me, whenever we got a chance to go down the switchbacks, was our favorite. We never did, I-17, we just did the switchbacks. It was so beautiful. And the minute you just start getting into Sedona, for anybody who says, oh, Sedona, is it really? But no, when you start crossing through and you start reaching the rocks and you start to see that little bit of glimmer of the orange and the red, you actually do feel the energy shift. There's just like, you start coming in, and it's like everything that you felt like was weighing on you, you feel it's almost kind of like going into like when you pass through a cleansing wall. You go in, and it's just like, and then you just feel absolutely light. And like Allie was saying the other night, I never really got to go to any of the other vortexes because I was happy going to the one at the airport. It was easiest to get to.
It was easy.
I loved climbing to the top of it. It is a challenge. I don't know how I would do these days, but back then, just sitting on top of there and just having that beautiful expanse and just watching the clouds moving, and then their shadows on the red rocks, and that soft, balmy, breeze, if we were there. And there's just no way of describing that energy, because I was like, oh, vortex, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling, I got a little woozy. I had to actually sit. Yes, the first time I kind of had to sit, because I didn't know if it was woozy just because I was exerting myself physically, or if it was the energy. But for me, the vortex for the airport, for me, it was very soft. It was very subtle. It wasn't jarring. You would just sit there, and then you just kind of like melt, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
I miss it so much. I really do. I kind of wish we hadn't left, but it is what it is. And maybe someday we'll be able to get back there, at least to visit.
I hiked my crystals up to the airport vortex. Actually, I brought them to other vortexes too. And then I would lay them out. Well, I laid them out on top, and I let them charge up there. But yeah, it's one of the most beautiful places. I did have a really interesting evening one night. I forget what.
Do share.
Yeah, it was. We went to almost all the vortexes. I think we missed 1 or 2, but I forget what vortex we had been to that particular day. Anyway, we went to bed that night, and it was almost like it was kind of like a suite, because you had your bedroom, and then it was like a kitchen and living room, and but it was open, and if here was the bed, you were looking out into the living room. And I hadn't fallen asleep. I was laying there trying to fall asleep, and all of a sudden I look, and the room is covered in lights. I mean, I
remember you saying that one night. Oh, yeah, that's amazing. I'm like, I didn't have that experience when I stayed there overnight.
Well, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And and it was, so that was really, really cool. And on on my YouTube, I had just started my YouTube channel. And so in some of the videos that I took while I was there, you can literally see like the energy, like I
Wow.
think Bell Rock was one of them. I think Airport. Um there was another one that I really, really liked, but I can't think of the name of it now. But we're gonna go back um
Oh, I'm so jealous.
in September, and we're gonna take the kids and
That's a good time to go too. It's beautiful with the weather. It'll be really
yeah.
nice. Hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, it was still a little bit warm when we were there last year. Where I mean, you had to drink a lot of water,
Oh,
but
yes.
my husband wants to go rent dune buggies, and
Oh,
that's
my.
that's not my cup of
No,
tea.
not my tea. No.
And
Mm-mm.
and so, but the boys, and him want to do that, and so we're gonna they can go do that, and I can go hiking or whatever in the meantime. It's just being in the town is just
Did you ever
magical.
get a chance to go to Talakapaki?
No.
It's a little village as you're coming into, because when I was living there, so to back up a little bit, I almost died a couple times in Arizona. Nothing where it was like a near death, but very close to it. And then the first time is that my appendix almost burst. And this doctor at Flagstaff Memorial told me, "Oh, you have an STD. Here, have some antibiotics. You'll feel better." And I could barely, first get in there. I could barely walk. I was in so much pain. I was laying on the floor crying. And I told him, I'm in a monogamous relationship. This is not, well, just take it. If you don't feel better, then go see your doctor, on Monday. And this was a Friday. By Monday morning, I couldn't walk. Shan had to carry me to my doctors. They couldn't even do an internal exam with the ultrasound. My appendix was ready to burst at any moment. They had an ambulance there for me in 10 minutes, and I had to get rushed in. I was totally septic. And so for some people, appendix, you're there for a couple days and you're out. For me, I was in such extreme pain for like a month. And so in that time, I got it. What? Oh my goodness. One of my babies want to say hi that usually doesn't want to say hi. Oh my goodness. So everybody, this is my Ziva. This is my oldest. Say hi, Callie.
Hello, beautiful.
Hi. I'm 16 this year. I wasn't feeling too good this morning, huh? No, we were a little constipated. Yeah, but we're feeling good.
16. That's
Yep, she's 16.
amazing.
So hi. So you go be a good
You
girl.
are gorgeous.
And I
So
have another one. He's short hair. His name is Mozzie, but they're both rescues from the trailer court that I had lived at. So be a good girl. So I couldn't move. I was in bed a lot and I was sitting around, and I had been wanting to, check out this one bead shop, and Shannon was like, well, let's go get you, some beads, and, you can play around and start doing that. Well, because of all that time, I just fell in the, oh, she loves to do hugs. Okay, relax, calm down. And so I started beading and then boom, I started making my own jewelry, my necklaces. So we would go to Sedona, hit the bead garden. If you like beading, the bead garden is a beautiful place if it's still open. It's right down the road on 89, going just about before you head out to Cottonwood and to Jerome.
mhm.
And there was like when you're coming down 89, there's that little offshoot at the light. There's that intersection, and you got the three little the Hopi
Yep.
clowns right there on that road down there. If you go down, it takes you to this it's a high end little retail shop, but it's beautiful. You have people playing music outside. It's across from this nice little
Yes,
Christian shop
yeah, we
called
drove through
Talakapaki,
there. Yes.
and lovely little shops, and there's water, and there's a beautiful little Mary,
Yes.
well, if it's still there, a little Mary grotto there as well. So that was for when we went. That would be our area. And when I lived in Flagstaff, I worked at Crystal Magic, and the main store was in Sedona. So oh, I know, honey, I'm sorry, but here she just really needy. Okay, I'm going to put you down now. Okay, mommy will give you love in a little bit. I know, sweetheart. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Let me just get her down. All right.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Oh, there are times when she's not, believe me. She's a diva. Don't let that fool you.
We have two cats. I have I have my cat, and then Landon has got his cat. So we have two here
Yeah.
too.
So cat people, I like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I got into Beaton. So that whole area down there, I always was, excuse me, bummed out that I didn't get to go to the other vortexes, but I knew where that one was. And talking about an amazing experience, we were there for I can't remember if it, yes, it was for the spring equinox. It was kind of rainy that day. It was a little bit stormy. It was a little chilly, not too bad, but I told Shan I want to go. It's the equinox. I want to go to the, to the vortex. And so we went and we're sitting up there, and I'm just like taking it all in. And I said, oh, the only thing we need right now is someone to bring drums, because by that, at that point, I hadn't taken my crystal healing or my Reiki drum healing and classes and stuff, because I did all that in Sedona before I left Arizona. And at Peace Place, it's still there. Um, and so we're like, okay, well, it was more like what I think a couple of minutes after I said that we got up, we were going to go. I kid you not, Kelly. I heard drums and pan pipes coming up the side of the mountain. A man there from, I think it was he was from Peru or something, was there. He had his drum and he was drumming and he was coming up to the mountain onto the top to play. And it was just like, I can't make this up.
No, no, not at all.
And I said, "Do you
Wow.
hear that?" And I turn around, and Shannon looks at me. He's like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, and he was playing, and I even said to them, when he was done at one point, I said, we were just getting ready to leave. I said, I wish, someone would bring drums up or have a drum. I go, it's so beautiful. And I said, and you appeared, and he had his drum, and paying he had his panpipes across his face, and he had his drum in his hand, and he was strumming and playing the panpipes. It was amazing.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow,
So
wow.
you
It
had your
doesn't
orbs, I had my drum.
it doesn't get
So
any better than
yeah,
that.
I mean,
That
there's dark history and dark energy around Sedona because of it being Arizona and mining town, especially Jerome. But there's just something, that vortex that goes through Sedona, though, that keeps everything, to me, in check, in balance. And so for me, it's always been beautiful energy,
so
transformative
beautiful.
energy.
Did you ever go to the chapel?
No, I wasn't really interested in chapel, especially not being, I had left the church many years ago, and me really kind of cutting ties,
Mhm.
with, patriarchal religions. Although this beautiful lady came with me, that was what my beautiful gift was from being raised Catholic, was my mother Mary. She was my goddess. So when I started learning about Native American spirituality, paganism, Wicca, Earth Mother, honoring, the goddess
Mhm.
movement, all of that, she just naturally flowed right with me. So with the churches and stuff, I didn't want to go to those. For me, it was just being out in the rocks,
Yeah,
being in
well, and
nature.
and I totally get it, and, and same feelings, but there was something about that energy up there that was so powerful.
Really,
When I walked in, I literally started sobbing. I mean, like a little kid, and
hi Hershey.
and hello, and Tim was asking, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "The energy here is just it was just, um, it was really powerful there too." But yeah,
and
the whole town is just something.
and really quick, Diana also joined us. Hello,
Hello,
Tribal Dances.
Diana.
I want to make sure I star that for everybody to see. And Jay also made a comment. I want to star for you. We had such similar stories. Of course, I could listen to you talk all day. Minnesota
Yeah,
accent is the
yes.
best.
Yep. Yep, we'll always have it. Oh, thanks, Jay.
And yes, Hershey has joined us. Hello, Hershey, my dear. Thank
Hello,
you.
Hershey.
Dina is also here. That's Star
Hi.
Woman. So thank you everybody, for being here. So all of Kelly's just really quick. All what I could give Kelly's information is in the description. Please be sure to do all the YouTubey things like Hershey says. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed
Oh,
the content.
thank
And
you.
so, is there anything else that you would like to share about your practice? I know you do Reiki, you do Angel. I didn't know if you wanted to do, because we're still at 2:30, so I didn't know what other things you wanted to share about yourself with everybody, and if you wanted to do any like spiritual messages, or you're my guest. What would you feel like doing today?
I did get a message this
Okay,
morning for us. Um
wonderful.
and I'm thinking it's for now and through and probably like through the weekend. Typically, we're on the cusp of the weekend, and typically it's like, go have fun and always do that. But I and follow your gut, follow, your wisdom. But
Mm-hmm.
what I got today was to conserve, that we should really um conserve our energy going into the weekend, and to really take care of our immune system. And so that's what I picked up for. But and even if anybody wanted a reading, we could do readings too. I'm open for it.
Okay, now do you do Akashic readings too? Is
I
that one of
I don't.
Okay, I couldn't remember because I know that somebody was on my list that mentioned Akashic, and because that's a lot of people are starting to do and tapping into the Akashic records now. So I wasn't sure if that was one of what you
Do
do,
you
but
do that?
mm-mm. I mean, one day I accidentally did. I guess well, it was during the Zooms with Diana and with Valerie, and I was given over to Linda, and Linda was like, "Well, okay, let's do the Akashic." And I said, she goes, "Well, I think we're supposed to be doing Akashic." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "You don't do it." And I said, "No." And she goes, "Well, I'm going to, do the prayer, do the key. I guess you need a key or something to do it." But she went ahead and opened it for herself. And so I'm just like, okay. And so I got something pretty cool. She got something pretty cool. So maybe I don't know, but it's something I'm thinking about. One of those things moving forward into this year. I'm still feeling I know that there's a little bit of a light language in there. JJ Tuda Speaks has been
Hmm.
working with me for about a year on and off. We'll get together, and that beautiful crystal I shared earlier was actually a gift from JJ. And there's this beautiful, it's a golden healer, and there's a little
Oh,
notch in here. And when I hold this a certain way and I put my finger in there and I relax and I breathe, automatically my hand starts going over the top. And that's when I start feeling like light language coming through. So I think it has to connect with the energy and the being of this crystal. But before I really start tapping into that, I need to get through the next couple months because I'm not sure we're doing with the apartment and moving stuff. I need to make
yeah.
sure that I'm grounded and I'm balanced before I start opening up and and doing something like that. So,
Yeah, that's the most important thing, Heather, is, yep,
but I
just
love my
taking care.
crystals.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it was. She gifted it to me, and I was just like, oh my god, So yeah,
That is
she's
beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I love crystals, and I'm hoping to get them out on one of the next full moons to get them charged. But it's a lot of work because I have them on different levels, and so just getting them
That's
all
why spraying is
outside.
good. Spritz,
Right.
spritz, 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 spritz.
Yep.
Yep, I
And
have
this
so many
room
of
is
them.
so bright that, because it faces the south. So the ones that I have in here, I feel always do get kind of charged because the sun is so powerful here.
Mhm.
And I'm using, I'm I've got the sage right here, and I've got the singing bowls, and
Hey,
just running
TK, that's great.
hello and running, those things over,
The
cards
singing
and
bowls. Oh
crystals
my
and
god, I
stuff.
love singing bowls. The
Just
ones we
all,
had at Crystal Magic, the metal ones I always had issues working, but we had the white crystal ones.
yeah.
And you tap and oh my god! And there were people in the store that be going, "Oh, that's hurting my ears! I gotta get out of here!" It's like, yeah, okay, well, bye. I mean,
Shoo shoo.
sometimes it could be, but instead of kind of, ah, So, but no, when you get them going, Heather, Silver Star Priestess, I think she's starting to come back on her channel. Like once a week, she would lay hers all out. She would go live, and it would be off a little bit because of the microphone, but she would sit there and she would go through the chakra bone, the bowls, and it was just amazing. So yeah, I love the crystal bowls, and I'm really interested in doing maybe tuning forks in the future as well.
I I was using mine right before we came on. I absolutely love
Cool.
them. I love the energy.
Well, that makes sense, Jay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's exactly
Hmm.
why. Yep, you were opening up.
So I was having a
That's
conversation because I have a show that I like doing now. I usually have like Tom, Early Ritual, and Jeff Bailey from Tarot Ask Backwards. We get in and we have discussions about topics that sometimes certain chats or channels may not necessarily, um, how do I put this? Because we all have different experiences, different beliefs, and different points of view, especially when it comes to the spiritual realms.
mhm.
And on this channel, on this show that I do every couple of weeks, and what I love doing too, on even if it's not on a Saturday, in one of my other shows, like the Para Oracle pop up I did the one night, we'll just organically let the topic move into certain areas. And one week we did, just really sharing what we think um, free will is, because sometimes not all of us feel the same way as the majority in our community, and
Mhm.
sometimes doors aren't as open for discussion in chats in some shows or in some channels. So for me, I like to be able to, on my channel, um, just open up the conversation and allow people to share their different opinions. And what's great about, at least my chatters and in my chat, it's a safe space for people to come, to be able to discuss how they see things. Ooh, I'm starting to lose my voice. How they feel personally about certain topics. And know that there's not going to be no judgment, no harshness, just because when we're more able to open up and share different ideas, that helps us grow. Whether we take on those
Oh,
same beliefs or not, it's still showing
absolutely.
that there's an open communication, and that there's other possible ways of seeing things. Last week, Jeff and I discussed, soul contracts. To us, what are they? We had people in chat asking us questions and sharing their comments and their thoughts. And one night, Jay popped into my pop up live about the Para Oracle, and it ended up going into spirit communications using boxes, Ouija boards, and things and stuff. And we were having conversations with Tom from Early Ritual in chat, and with myself and Jay. It's just a wonderful open discussion, and it's just like sharing our experiences. Not saying you should, you know what I mean. It's
Right.
just open
Yeah.
conversation, and that's what I love having on my channel. People sharing, having open conversations, and for me, one of the things that I wanted to kind of address is, and this is something too with me, with Reiki over the years, is that almost kind of like that toxic spirituality or toxic positivity. Because after I was learning the Reiki, and when I left Arizona, things kind of fell apart at one point, and I was trying to be doing the positive affirmations. I was trying to do the visuals. Things were just still falling apart. And when I reached out to a classmate of mine from my Reiki, she's like, well, you must be doing something wrong, or you're not believing hard enough. And I'm like, well, I'm not really connecting to the symbols like I thought I did. I don't really connect with the symbols. I feel more of the energy. Well, if you're not connecting with the symbols, then you're not trying hard enough. You're so and so see what I mean? It's just kind of like,
Wow.
it was like all so narrow minded. And for all of us, energy is not cookie cutter. We are
Wow.
all energetically different. So for me, when it comes to Reiki, I don't know if necessarily we need, and don't anybody come after me, because I know, and I'm not putting down all the hard work that we have done with working with attunements and taking classes, but just kind of sitting back and thinking, okay, what does the attunements really do? What can we do naturally that, because for me, I was, what I have learned from our community is that, and certain other people, that we are born with everything that we need. The energy is within us to heal. The earth has what we need to heal. The herbs, our power, our connection to our spirit, to whoever our high being is, that's all naturally inherent. And there's really no need for a so-called like middleman, like with, established religions and, needing a mediator. Whereas that's what I loved about, learning about paganism and Wicca and witchcraft and all and earth magic, was that all you need to do is touch your hands to the earth. There's your energy. So, there's your, your God, your goddess, or your personal connection to God. You didn't need someone, to. I know I'm going a little bit off of a tangent here, and I apologize, Kelly, if you need me to really rein it in. I'm just trying to kind of like to the point where we are all just these pure spiritual beings. We have immense power. We are of the universe. And I'm really learning how to really tap into this. And so for me, one of the conversations I would like to have on my channel is how really necessary do attunements, keys, all these, certain subtleties in certain modalities, how necessary really are they when we are supposed to have all that we need within our powerful creative self, our creative power beings, because we are of the universe. And this isn't going like ego based or prideful. It's just what we are. We are of the stars. We are stardust. We are our own beings. And so for me, it's like, okay, Heather, now where are you going with this? It's just
I
me putting that out there,
yeah.
and I'll just kind of pull back, because now it's like they're saying, okay, be quiet now, or I'm feeling like they're saying be quiet now, but just
No, I
wanting
told
them to tap
I
in.
totally see I totally get that. And I totally agree too that we do have everything in us. But I think at times, like when you were at your low point, I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes we just get so stuck that we don't know how to um we just sometimes we just don't have it within us to use those tools. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, when you know um you know like yourself doing reiki, and I do something similar, like energy clearing and
Mm-hmm.
cleansing. I think that's when it comes really into place, because we all can do it ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when we are in the muck or the weeds or whatever, where
Mm-hmm.
we just, you know I think we've all had times where it's tough to get out of bed, or tough to
Mm-hmm.
even like get in the
Oh yeah.
shower, and let alone, okay, now I gotta clear my energy, and I have to do this and do that. And
Mm-hmm.
where sometimes it gets to be overwhelming, where I think that's where you know the clearing the energy, the
Hey,
cutting the
Kelly.
cords, I think really come
Mm-hmm.
in handy, because we all have the gift to heal.
We
We
all
have
have the gift. Yes.
we all have it. And we can all put it to use in however. And sometimes it's just with our words, just telling somebody, how that looks really nice on you, or holding the door for somebody. I mean, we have no idea the impact that just a
Mm-hmm.
kind gesture or whatnot, how it can
A
actually,
smile.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bring healing into people's lives. Because we never know the struggles that are going on behind
Exactly.
closed doors. Because things on the outside can always appear to be just peachy keen,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not always the case. And a lot of times it can be the ones that are really like over, like you said, over positive, and um killing everybody with kindness. They sometimes are the ones that have are struggling inside and covering it up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going around and starring some of these comments here. Wow, Jackie said here, Absolutely. I know a woman who has survived cancer twice with no treatments whatsoever.
Mhm.
You know, some people have that ability. I mean, look how long Suzanne Summers was able to take care of herself, and people mocked her, you know, and made fun of her. And um, let's see, Jay was saying something about paranormal experiences have been down the spectrum. Yes, so that's when we were talking about the and then there was another one here. Um, Jackie said, I don't get sick because I don't talk about being sick or thinking about being sick or listen to people talking about being sick. And for some of us, that really works and on an energetic, but sometimes, you know, we just get sick.
It,
But
it
yes, but there is a power to that power of thought, of putting that, keeping that mindset. So yes, I totally, you know, I totally get that.
Oh, I do too. I think, just I have someone in the house right now that is and I'm not going to say it is under the weather, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's so easy when somebody is it's like am I am I getting those symptoms?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't
Yeah.
you shouldn't go down there. You should just think that I am healthy and whole.
And Care Bear, this is Karen. I love listening to pure sound frequencies like alpha, theta, etc., and meditate. Of course, the crystal bowls too. Been doing Silva method, and I really like it. I don't know what the Silva method is.
I don't
Very
either.
interesting.
I'm gonna write that
Karen's
down though.
Karen's another fellow reader who and she writes poetry. She's going to be joining us one of these evenings to share poetry. She's going to be joining Jackie and I for an investigative tarot one of these days too. She's very tapped in. And hello, Carolyn.
Hello, Carolyn.
My best to you and Peter. Hope you can
Yes.
join Allison and I in a couple weeks. I emailed you
Oh, that would
both
be
earlier
nice.
today. That would be, oh yeah, Allison was just like, you know what I would just love to do? She goes, I get YouTube. She goes, but I would just love to spend an afternoon sitting on the couch with them, having a cup of coffee, and just talking about our stories. You know, she goes, I mean, she was just so fascinated with Carolyn and Peter the other night when we had them on. It was a great show. Um,
So much knowledge there,
yeah,
and I know
I get it, Dina. Yeah, honey. She's going through a lot too, health wise. So,
it. I'm so sorry. It's tough when we're in it, and just hang in there, and just know things are going to get better.
hmm, most definitely. And let's see, Jose Silva. So that might be who. Okay, so here we go. Silva method sharpens your focus too and skills. Oh, stills, excuse me, your mind so well. It goes back to the 70s. He was an amazing man. Okay.
Oh, thank you for
Yes.
sharing that.
And that just was able to remind me of something that I was talking about earlier. There's a woman in my area. She even wrote a book. And when it comes to Reiki, she doesn't use the symbols because a lot of people say, well, you can't do Reiki properly unless you use the symbols. And if you're not using the symbols and you can't connect, then you're doing something wrong. That whole kind of, rabbit hole that we went down earlier. Um, this woman, I think I might find her before we relocate when I know that we're going to out of state at some point. And she says, for me, it's about the energy. She goes, a lot of times, she goes, when you study the history of Reiki, the symbols were kind of added on later on, and which kind of required people to have to pay to be attuned. This is just her perspective, and I'm just sharing what the knowledge that she has shared with me. And she says, but for me, when I do the Reiki, training and stuff, she goes, we focus on the energy, our connection to ourselves, our spirit, and how we work with that energy. Like you feel it in your body, and being able to do attachments. When I was doing the crystal, learning the crystal Reiki in Sedona, we were given a one of those crystals by oh now the name's leaving me, but he's the one that designed the IBM computers, Vogel.
Oh
And
yeah.
when he was working with IBM and using the quartz crystal for the computers, he started realizing, wait a minute, I'm having spiritual experiences and healing experiences while working with the crystals. And so he ended up going on and making something called a Vogelwand, and it's like a precisely cut crystal quartz. I have that packed safely away, and it with a point. And we were doing kind of like the psychic, going by and allowing our energy to guide us on this crystal, and we're to point it on the body, and just moving, and not being like self conscious, and just going in and working with the energy. And that made me think of you when you say you go in and you remove attachments and blockages, and work in the auric field. That sounds absolutely amazing. Now, did you find that that just came naturally to you, or was that something that you gradually worked learning into?
It just came to me. I haven't taken
That's
any
cool.
classes or anything. It just, um, it started out, just, really, sending people healing, and then hearing the results of how it worked. And it could have been, somebody with a sore knee, or somebody that was sick, somebody that was depressed. What I've even worked with, even like, relationships, marriages that are just kind of having just having a little bit of trouble. I've worked just sending healing and stuff like that. And hearing the feedback from it was really what just kind of kept me
Exactly.
intrigued, and kept me going, and just, and then then I started, I was able to feel, I can feel like where blocked energy is, and I can,
Mhm.
and then I'd go in and clear that out. And so, and it was just all of a sudden one day I was working with somebody. It's like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, I can feel it in my body. And so I think as we just ascend and level up, our gifts and stuff just continue to get heightened. And we all have so many different gifts to
Yes,
share with everybody. And
that's what's amazing
everybody's
about it.
abilities are just a little, are no better or no worse than anybody's. I mean,
Hmm.
we all have abilities. And I think just over time, just but using them, they do increase.
Just like a crystal, we're each a facet, and we all tap into that same energy, that same crystal, but it shines through us differently. Each one has their
Yeah,
special, yeah. And there
yeah.
was when I was in Arizona too, I had this, and I only had it once, but she was part of our women's goddess group. And when she was in Hawaii, she learned something called Lomi Lomi. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And it's like Reiki, but I don't think she said there were any symbols, but they were dance movements. And what she would do is you would lay on a
Oh,
table, and she would dance and move her hands, and she would go over your body, touch you lightly in area, and you could feel it was almost kind of, and I'm getting like tingles all over my body, doing this. But you could feel like the swirling energy of the warmth of her hands over your body, and you could actually feel, for me looking back, I think I felt more of that energy moving through me than laying the hands down in certain positions, because
mhm.
she was working around, she was dancing, she had her feet on the earth, she was having her hands from the sky, she was pulling up from earth, from sky, through spirit, through her body, and it was just all over motion and energy and intention, and it was beautiful.
I,
I would love to be able to learn, personally learn that at some
I,
point.
I've got goosebumps. That it sounds absolutely beautiful.
And I'm just going to type it really quick into chat. I went to go type Lomi, and they put in Loki. I'm like, no, not Loki.
Loki, yep.
Lomi. Oops. Lomi. Hopefully I wrote that properly. But yeah, so there's just so many different modalities. Let's see. Diana said, I must tell you, watch two shows on two devices, Gerald and Deb and you two. The conversation is so very much the same. It's wonderful. Oh,
Oh,
cool. Interesting. And come to think of it too, besides the Lomi Lomi, um, Tanis from Twill Lifestyle, she has a spiritual practice. She's up in Canada and she
uh-huh.
does something called Aqua Lead, which is similar to Reiki. It's about using um, symbols and energy, but focusing on the water in your body, the water outside. I believe it's focusing too on the water that you before you put into your body, along with healing that focuses on the water in your body because of how, like with Dr. Emoto, who passed away, who showed how emotions and energies created these beautiful crystalline structures in the water. Um, it's I guess it's called Aqua Lead, and it's about transforming the crystals and the makeup of the water in your body to a higher vibrancy or higher frequency to help heal through you that way as well. So that's very something interesting. I love the new modalities. I really do. Um,
And there's so many. I mean,
mhm,
like you mentioned, even like the tuning forks, there's so many frequencies. And, and if a person can't, doesn't have the money for a tuning fork, person can just
mhm,
go on YouTube and put in whatever frequency that you want to
mhm,
hear and have the healing from. Just
mhm.
type that in and lay and listen to it.
And Harley says, I think that we're led to certain things when the timing is right. Yes.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree
Even when we're
more.
seeking, there may be some other things that we need to figure out before finding what is meant to be. Exactly. Well said, Harley.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Like I said, I love the conversations, and we can be open even if it's different. Oh, question. I did a third eye chakra this morning using pure tones for pineal gland, and I had full body chills, cold for an hour, goosebumps all over, and it's 80 degrees here. Is that normal?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know. I've never had full body chills for an hour. Wow,
Well,
that
I
sounds
have I
amazing.
probably haven't for an hour, but I really think that it was, I mean, it was that powerful. I mean, it was like it really, really like opened you up. And what I'm getting is that your guides really wanted you to know that, that if they would have just given you quick goosebumps, it would have been easy to dismiss it. And I think the reason you got it for the length of time was that they really wanted you to know that y- you're heightened. Your crown is open, your third eye is open. But yeah, you're gonna should we pull some cards?
I wanted to pull a card for her because I know you were energetically reading, and I'm thinking, oh, I want to pull a card. And I
Yeah.
have two decks that I put together. They're both by Rebecca Campbell. The
Oh, I
cards
love
that she
her.
used is beautiful. I have the Rose Oracle and I have her Healing Oracle, and I combine them and I call them Rose Water.
I love that, Heather.
So for me, I have a whoop. Let's see. Well, this is interesting how you said you had the overbody chills because the card I have, I'm just going to put up like this really quick. I got plunge. Don't hold back. It's time. Go for it. Dive
Yes.
in. And usually we get those chills when we dive into that pool of water. It's like, oh, it's cold. But no, once you dive in and you dive in, you're like, oh, that feels good.
Then you get comfortable.
With the summer. Yep. So that's a beautiful card, Karen. Just dive right in. Don't hold back, sweetheart. Just go for it. All that beautiful water around you. So yeah,
That's
beautiful.
amazing. That is amazing, and amazing even going forward now, because I mean this obviously really really opened you up. I'm so happy for you.
Yes, and the things that she shares in chat during readings and things, it's just like wow. I'm like nailed it. It's like that mic drop. Boop.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and Dina, you are right. Um, I learned from somebody when I was in Arizona. I learned from a lot from people in Arizona because it's more spiritually open, and people come from all different walks of life with different experiences spiritually in Arizona. And one of the gentlemen told me that way back, I'm trying to, I don't know if it was 40s or something, but there was a gentleman who did have a some sort of machine that did frequencies, and he had discovered that by tuning into a certain frequency, it would dissolve cancer cells. And people were going to him for treatments on different things. He would work with the frequencies, and then it would, and people would get healed, you know. And but it was like I don't know how long it was. He wasn't very long being able to do this, because at one point, I can't remember if Mike had said that they arrested him, or they had come in, confiscated. I think it was government came in, confiscated the equipment, his work, got rid of, destroyed everything, and after that, yeah, they left him alone, but they came in and confiscated. So there
What?
really are, for me, I mean, I believe there's been cures for many years,
I do
and this is
too.
my personal opinion. YouTube, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I like putting that in there too, but I really do feel that there are a lot of cures for cancers and diseases right now, but because pharmaceutical and medical is such big business, I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of the world's economy is, you know, is based on, you know, the medical field. I mean, you see it wherever you go. Everything is all medical now, not just with the technology. I think if people were to start, you know, coming forward and saying they could do this, that there would be a lot of money loss. And so that's just how I feel, that, you know, to
I
me there would
agree.
be a lot less, you know, deaths in cancer, um, and in other diseases. I mean, anywhere, every time you turn on the TV, every other commercial is for a pill or something. And yes, they do help. I mean, I take medication. I take one of those pharmacy for my mental health, because I do, like I share normally on people's channels, I do have borderline personality disorder. I have anxiety. I have depression, and I do deal with PTSD from certain traumas in my past. And you know, for a while I was, you know, ashamed of myself, or I didn't feel good about myself, because you know, I can't take care of this on my own, knowing what I do energetically, spiritually. You know, I felt bad about, you know, having to take medications and stuff, but I did work down. I was on about 4 or 5, but I'm down to one now. I am going to add an extra, because I've just been going through a lot lately, just as a little bit of a mood lift. And so it's just, again, you know, the medicine is there, but we need to have more of a holistic balance.
Mhm.
And I think, you know, with the medications that are being offered in the hospital, the pharmaceuticals, we need more of the holistic to start balancing that. And I have heard that there are hospitals now that some doctors are open to allowing people who do Reiki to come in and offer it to their patients. That
Mhm.
they're, it's becoming more progressive, and I just wish it would kick in a little bit more. But I think people are becoming more aware
And
that there is
it's going
more.
to.
Hmm.
It's gonna be it's I really see it becoming like a thing of the future where, you know, we're turning to um we're we're turning to
Yes.
healers, and we're turning to you know, we're looking back to see what our grandparents,
Hmm.
what did they, what remedies did they
Exactly.
use, you know, to help cure something. I really see that really I see it coming a lot in the future, and just, you know, self healing
Mm.
and just alternative healing.
Mm. And YouTube, this is, you know, again, for entertainment purposes only. Kelly and I are not doctors. We are
No,
just talking about our perspective, and that I will go say that Western medicine is extremely important, but
oh, it's needed.
we need, we just need to find a healthy balance. And I know a lot of doctors now are okay with connecting with naturopaths. You know,
Hmm.
I have a couple of specialists for some of my issues that said, "Oh, we love that you're holistic. Yeah, let me send you, you know, if you need a list for naturopaths, here you go." Here, so it's becoming more, and I've noticed that a lot of them are coming from female doctors. So I'm not saying there's not male doctors that are out there that aren't supportive, but I noticed that there are a lot more female doctors who are about, yes, adding the vitamins, adding more water, going to see a naturopath. Let's look at your labs. Let's see what kind of natural we can do, because I had one doctor come in one day and tell me, I'm telling you right now, I am not a pill doctor. I don't do opioid. And I mean, she was just like, she goes, we're going to check your diet. And it was just amazing that I'm seeing more doctors like this,
Yeah.
especially women. So, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
the more,
definitely need Western medicine because I mean we need to
oh,
it's
really?
important to get our blood work and stuff done.
I haven't noticed that around here, but that's good to know that some health insurances are now covering or doing coverage for Reiki, acupuncture, chiropractic. Yes, that's very good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, we are at 3 o'clock. I don't know what your time limit is. Was there anything else you want to discuss? Did you want to pull cards for some people? What do you want to do, Kelly?
You know what? It's your call. It's your call. I'm game. I'm
Oh, so you're good for at least maybe another half hour?
yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, hello, Janet DC. You're
Hello,
new. I
Janet.
love the kitty. Oh my God. Look at the kitty face on there.
I
Janet,
love
I have two
kitties.
black babies. Ducks here are still a bit high. Yeah, there's areas, but it's becoming that's why it's like the more people talk about it, the more they come to their doctors and say, well, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm interested in. The more people start taking their health, um, when I say into their own hands, it means the doctors. If there's a doctor you go to that you feel isn't listening to you, see if you can find other doctors. Start working on. For me, I was blessed enough. I had spirit. A lot of times, please send me to the right doctor. I need
Mhm.
somebody to help. And then my primary doctor, I haven't seen her in a while, but she was all about, when I told her about the Reiki, I told her about, the nutritionist I was going to see, the natural herbs, vitamins, the crystals. She was just like, that is wonderful. And so it's like, it
I love
is,
it.
you just, I know it's hard for some, but I think the more we talk about it, the more we tell, our medical community, this is what I would like to see. Because if a primary doctor has patients coming in more often saying, well, I would like referrals for a naturopath. Do you have any referrals also for a massage therapist or a myofascial facial, acupuncture, these kind of things? They're going to be like, well, if I want to keep my patients and keep, then might start getting them to look into. So it's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately,
No.
but it is picking up momentum.
Yep, it is.
And we just
It's
got to
in the
keep going
making.
on. And Tina says, just my opinion, thoughts on this, but as a world, we just need to learn to share the love with one another and not be so divisive. Yes, every race has something to contribute to the whole world. Yes, I agree,
Yeah.
Dina.
I agree too because you know what? I really do believe that we all are one and what affects one affects the collective.
Mhm. And Karen says, here's some sound therapy to treat autism as well. My friend's son was in that, administered by PTOT therapists. So, all different forms, of.
That's beautiful.
And I'm just looking sure. Okay, so we got that. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. Um, Chat jumps. Very few, but yes, very few, but it is a start. Started seeing that in Arizona when I was taking the Reiki. And one of the things that really moved me was when she's in spirit now, but one of my teachers got Laurel. She was telling me that um, she and a couple of other women, they had friends who were going through chemo, and they would ask permission to come in before their friends' chemo treatments and do Reiki on the chemo bag. And the doctors would kind of be like, okay. But when they would do in there, it's because even though, yes, chemo is destructive to our body, by using the Reiki energy or focusing the healing energy on that bag, it was showing to them that they were having less severe side effects from the treatments. And again, this is just entertainment purposes only. I'm just sharing a story that was heard. And they were noticing that when you put that kind of healing energy into something, you raise the vibration of it. So Did she still have symptoms? Yes. But for these people, were they severe? They were starting to notice. No, they weren't as severe. So
That's
it's
amazing.
it's catching on slowly, you know. Um,
Energy is
so
a powerful thing.
And I think Diana hits to something true. Yes, so true. The not hearing you is so prevalent. You know what that stem of the issue is. It's your body. Yep, especially for women. That's why I tell them
Yes.
I want a female primary doctor. I was, um, molested as a child by a family member, a male, and it wasn't the only time when I've had men in my life up to around that point or so, or even a little bit older. So I told them I feel much more comfortable having a female doctor. And the female doctors that I've had have been very understanding. They have been wonderful. And for me, a female doctor, being a female, they understand our bodies more. I mean,
Mhm.
there were some in the past I had where, oh, it's all in your head, da 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 da. Being a female, you should have known better than that. But this is going back to the 80s, when still. But for me now, having a female doctor, they understand a woman's body because they go through it. So for
Mhm.
me, it's important to have, not just for my safety, feeling safe because of my past traumas, but because they understand a woman's body. And that's what made me think of that when Diana said, it's your body. And women tend to listen to that more, I
Yeah,
find,
and
than a
it's
male.
I agree, and I think it's really important that, that we're heard, and to if we have to keep saying it over and over and over and over again, that they're hearing us, because not being
Mhm.
heard when we're talking to our doctor, when we're paying for a service, and telling them things that, I mean, we truly know our bodies best. And I'm
Mhm.
with you. I have a woman doctor too. I did have a male doctor back in Minnesota, and I do have to say, he was really really good. I mean, I want to say he got teary eyed when, because our whole family went there when we were moving, and at my last visit with him, I think there was probably 6 doctors. Well, there was a couple other doctors, and then I think there must have been like,
Mhm.
4 nurses or something, and they all stood around me, and they were like looking at my hands and my feet, and he's like, she's moving to California, and I want to send her on her way, just being in the best health. So that I do have to say that he was amazing. But other than that, I've always had female doctors.
Mhm. And Harley said, if we go back on home remedies, they may sound crazy to some, but they work, and they had to do with natural elements. That's how our ancestors, even the indigenous men and women, they knew, and that's why I think a lot of them end up going after the village healers, the village men and women who were the healers, who were the midwives, because it was showing that they could help heal people with the natural remedies of the earth, instead of there was that whole thing again about the patriarchal religions. No, you need to go to church and you need to get healing from God. And they didn't want people to keep relying on people who were in the villages, that knew the plants, that knew how to connect with them spiritually, to be able to help the people in their communities. And so I'm agreeing with Harley. A lot of home remedies, um, a lot. I know that's becoming very popular. You can't
Yeah.
go into like a Barnes and Noble, into a lot of these stores, without let's see a whole section on holistic remedies now. It's at least getting the conversation started, putting that out there where people start noticing it a little bit more, and they seeing it, and they go, well, maybe at some point, well, let's look into it. I have a nutritionist as well to go along with my mental health and with my primary doctor. And so when you combine them all together, that is, the best source of health. Um,
Mhm.
you know, so yeah, I still have to kind of keep watching. I don't keep saying for you entertainment purposes only with YouTube, but um, I mean everything is on this planet. That's on this planet is for us to use. It's meant to be here. People say
Absolutely.
it's a retort. It's like, oh, you keep going on about it, but it's true. You know, Venoms are there to help. You might get bitten by a snake, but the venom, when you learn how to utilize it properly, can also be to help save you from a bite, but yet it can also be used to help a disease or you know what I mean? It's just
Absolutely.
people don't realize how intricately connected. That's why I loved Avatar so much, the original movie when it came out, because it showed how everything was all connected.
Mm-hmm.
That web, you know,
Right?
the plants, the animals, the people, the honoring the animals when you have to kill them to eat. You know what I mean? We've just so much lost that. Um,
I do have to say, in this last year,
yeah, they don't
last
honor
night,
the plants. Yeah.
I went into the bathroom and there was a spider on the wall, and I looked at it and I'm like, what am I going to do here? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. I've been
And
there too.
years ago I would have gotten rid of it, but I have to say I was really proud of myself. I took a Kleenex and I grabbed the spider and
Mhm.
I went to my door here and I just threw it out, but the Kleenex went with it because I threw it out. I'm like, okay.
See where we are at right now is like trying to go through the bill and everything. It's just like, guys, we don't want to see you. If we see you and you're in reach, I'm sorry, but in other places, because we don't want to get bit. We don't want our cats to get bit and get hurt.
Yes.
So one night, the other night we had a stink bug flying around, and I'm just like, let it fly around. It's not coming on us. It's not doing anything. The cats are going woo, and then it quieted down and disappeared. So I
What's
really
a
tried
stink
not to.
bug?
Um, they're like a beetle like bug, and when they, I guess when they get scared or they get alerted, or if you go to kill them, they release a nasty smell, so they call them stink bugs.
Huh. I
So
haven't heard of that one. I'm
yeah,
sure they're here. I just haven't heard of it.
and
Yes.
yeah, I
I
want
did
to leave this up here. I love this.
I did that this morning. I went and I just had the sun. It was just beating right down onto my face, and that is so healing. Yeah.
Please hear me out. Yeah, 3 years.
And we shouldn't have
Yeah,
to
stink
beg.
bugs.
That's the thing. We shouldn't have to beg to be heard.
So Karen knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, maybe it's an East Coast. I don't know, but Chad recognized it, and he's from the West Coast. Yeah, they're nasty. Diana, how are you healing? Well, Diana's pretty powerful. She's connected and in tune with Mother Earth with her shamanic abilities and her understanding of
She's
herbs and things.
amazing.
So yeah, I seem to attract butterflies and ladybugs. Nice.
I love that.
Yes, they look like they're wearing a little armored shield. They're actually cute, but just
I'm sure I've
just watch
seen
out.
them. I had to have. We have some beetles that are just ginormous around here that are, yeah.
They are
They fly
also
at your head and it's like you're ducking.
they are also called harlequin bugs. They can be gorgeous during mating seasons. I put them to play in
Interesting.
tune. So I do have another appointment at 3:45. So Kelly, do you want to do like a collective, and then we can say goodbye to everybody?
Sure. Sure, let's do
I'm
that.
sitting here, Gabby, talking, and I'm like, "Oops, Kathy, 3:45. Oh dear."
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
let's
and I
do.
just love these conversations because you can just keep talking and talking. Um, oh my God, Heather, are you referring to the lady beetle? Last night from nowhere, I hopped on my notebook. I took a picture and Googled it, and was the description you gave. That might be it. So don't squash it, or going to be stinky. And Karen says I attract cats and geese.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, last summer for me, herons and cranes. I was driving on one of our main boulevard, and just out of nowhere, this huge, I don't know if it was a crane or a heron, just came flying over the major road, the boulevard, and flew right over the roof of my car. The wings were spread, the legs, and I'm just like, oh, what was
Wow.
that? And after that, they kept popping up, and Allison Aries was like, yep, gotta pay attention. That's a message for you.
Yep. Slow down.
And the last couple days, hearing owl sounds. So, and I had aunts and some family members that loved owls, so that could be my ancestors too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They come in.
Oh, look what Carolyn said.
I know. I love you. Love you,
Well, I do
Carolyn and
too.
Peter.
Mwah. To you and Peter, a double. So you are my guest. You have cards. I'll put you in the. I know you don't like the big seat, but how about if I do that and you can show your cards? Is that all right?
I get that family is going to be really important coming up, even just like for the next week. Just to look in on your family, check in on your kids and any family is going to be really important. And it's interesting, I got increased support along with family, and
That's pretty.
so I think we're all just needing a little extra support. So if reaching out to your family could maybe possibly give you the support that you're looking for. And I talked about this in my energy update. Sensitive motions, that we are really really sensitive. We might okay how do I say this? We might be fine 1 minute and just go, okay, things are great, things are good, and then all of a sudden we might just be overcome with emotion. And what they're saying is to just to let those out, whether just let the tears flow in your heart, and that goes along with a sensitive, being more sensitive, your emotions being more sensitive, is to take care of your heart. If your heart is tender, to really look in after yourself and take care of yourself. Whether it's just taking a bath, or sitting outside, or just taking care of your nervous system and your heart. And I also am getting that if you haven't, it's funny because I know we're not doctors and whatnot, but we were just talking about taking care of our health and whatnot, and I got, if you haven't had a checkup, get in and just do it, or at least have it on your radar, get in and have your blood work and stuff checked. But yeah, I think just increase support. If you're needing support, reach out to somebody, check in on your family, and take care of your emotions and take care of your heart, and just take care of yourself. Self-care.
Definitely, because still, like I tell, when we get into discussions on other shows where taking care of oneself, one's mental health, one's emotional health, it's just like there's such an awful stigma when it comes to mental health. They think when you say mental health, you're thinking of people with severe mental defects and things and stuff, and it's like, no, we all have mental health. It's got to stop being
We all
stigmatized.
do.
We all need to, we all deal with depression. We all deal with anxiety. Sometimes some of us more than others have more of an extreme of it, and it's just become to the point where social media and society want you to be so picture perfect that you can't have any type of flaw. They make you think having a mental health or getting help means that you're flawed or you're less, or you're going to do something awful. And so when we're able to keep having these open conversations and understanding that mental health affects everybody, we all have it, that we all need to be on top of our health, with our regular doctors, with holistic, with support groups. There really is a lot out there. We just need to need to know where to find it. And I wanted to put this up here. I didn't know if you saw what Carolyn said.
I
Yeah.
saw it when I was done, and I was really trying to hold back the tears because, yeah, that thank you, Carolyn.
And for me, I pulled two cards for my rose water, and I have the here. Let me get my there. deep
I
sea
love those
diving.
cards.
Isn't that beautiful? Just diving in. I love that beautiful pink. It's like the healing self-love color, and then you have that with your purple, your higher self, your spiritual self. Just beautiful deep diving into the universe. And it says the way of the mystic. Learn through experiencing. So everything that we're going through, start tapping to the depths of who we are. And I think that goes good with Kelly's message earlier about this weekend, going into it and kind of refraining, not exerting so much energy. Take
Yeah.
time to like really deep dive into our depths of ourselves, really sit with our emotions, get grounded, meditate, a lot of stuff. I don't watch the news, but I'm hearing things and seeing snippets of stuff that's going on, and to me, I really need to stay grounded. And also,
Mhm.
to water, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Yes.
It's so important. And the other card
Yes.
that came up is the reunion, and again about our ancestors, about soul recognition. All of us, like for me, this is us in chat. This is all of us coming together, and in this
Yeah.
lifetime, it's the reunion. We're connecting with our ancestors. We're learning how to. I really never thought about connecting with ancestors until I met Allison. She has an ancestor altar. I never heard of that type of altar before,
I do too.
and so I'm like, okay, now I have my picture of my grandma out, and I have my dad's antlers from his deer and stuff. So I'm bringing in and tapping into more of my ancestors, partnerships, friendships. This is us collaboration. So
Collaboration.
coming in together, deep diving with each other, exploring, you know, who we are, the differences that we are. But like Dina had said earlier, she says, we're all one piece of a big puzzle, and none
That's
of us don't
exactly it.
fit. We all fit together. Hmm?
That's exactly it. And I just want to clarify something for, not all of us have great relationships with our family. And so when I say family, I don't mean, oh my gosh, you have to pick up the phone and call
No.
somebody that you haven't had a relation. I don't mean that at all.
Soul
It can,
tribe
it can be
family.
your soul
Yep.
family, your soul tribe, or it can mean your family that you want to catch up with and haven't for a while, and because you've been busy. So don't, yeah, it can, there's many types of family. Many friends are family too.
So Lottie B, the pink card. So these are two decks that I mixed together. They're by Rebecca Campbell, and I believe Katie Louise is the artist for both of them. One's called the Healing Waters, and the other one's called the Rose Oracle. So I put them together as rose water readings. So I put those two together, and I got that idea from Hershey because she was like, "Oh yeah, I combine my cards." I'm like, "Oh, why didn't? Okay." So I'm starting to play with combining cards. So those were the two decks, the Healing Waters. And it's Rebecca Campbell. So if you look
She's
her up on Amazon, she's
Yeah.
got in her. And the thing is too is I just want to say she's the writer, but the actual artist. We really need to get behind artists. I'm
Yes.
an artist myself. That was what I went to school for, college for. That's mainly what my spiritual path is my art. And so for me, you know, artist recognition is so important. And please try not to, want to buy from Timu. Timu is mostly all bootleg decks, counterfeit decks. The artists, they don't get, the money most of the time from those. So if you can, help support, the artists and the creators directly,
Yep.
most appreciated coming from another fellow artist, because one of our fellow readers, Katie Louise, you're mentioning runes earlier, not Katie Louise, Kristen Louise, she created a rune oracle. It's called the Star Rune, and I use that from time to time.
Oh.
And because she's starting the Asatru, she's tapping into her. I'm trying to remember. Oh, the Viking heritage that she
Mhm.
has, and the pantheon. So working with Odin and with Freya, that part of her family, her ancestors,
Yep.
and she created a beautiful deck called the Star Rune, where she puts the rune on the card, the name of the rune as well, and images. And she's got this beautiful picture for healing, Kelly. It's a woman, image of a woman that she came across, double mastectomy. She's got her hand on her chest. She's closing her eyes, and there's this beautiful blue light coming across her, and the card's called Healing. And so they're really strong, profound images in that deck.
Wow.
So I absolutely love that deck. Um, so yeah, and yeah, please, and you got to watch out too. Amazon has the bootlegs too. You got to watch. I got caught accidentally once with the boot. I didn't know they existed until I realized one day. I'm like, why is this? I saw the actual deck in the store, and I'm like, wait a minute, this was supposed to be coming in a big box with a guided book. What is going on? And then I realized what it was, and I'm like, and I threw it out. I didn't want a part of it. So I know sometimes decks can be expensive, especially indie decks, but what if that was a friend of yours or fellow reader, like if
Mhm.
myself, because I've had a couple of other readers say, oh, it's all right. I'll eventually buy the other, but right now I don't have the money and I want all, but it's spending money and taking away from the income.
Mhm.
It for me spiritually, it's like, but what if that was me? If and you bought a deck that I created with my art, you know what I mean? People really have to, you know, this is when I get on my soapbox and I have to really say, you know, think of the spiritual energy behind that too. Think of the time and the effort for artists. I mean, I know Diana can relate, creating her own deck too. So just imagine if you go onto a Temu and buy someone's deck that's counterfeit. What if that was someone doing that to Diana or to myself or Kristen Louise? How would you feel? You
It,
know?
Timu is it's it's a
Yeah.
it
It's
it's
a
a
website that sells discount. It's like, yeah, some of it's crap, some of it's not, but it's out of like China or Japan or something like that, and everything's like all dirt cheap on there. And yeah, some of these decks you can get for like $10, and and it's just like it's not. It's to me, it's not worth it
that's typically a
energetically. But
red flag right there. If if
yeah.
a deck is $10.
And if there's like a little, and if it says, there's a little QR code to click on for that, nope, that's another sign, red flag right there. So
What was it? What did
there's
you
a
just
little
say?
those QR codes. I don't have that. I should have kept at least the box for the bootlegs so I can show people, but there's a QR code that they put on. It's usually they come in a little tuck box, and there's a little QR code. They say, well, if you scan this, you'll get like a little PDF, and then and for a lot of these, that's an automatic, sign.
Oh,
Now,
I
if you go to
see.
Etsy, sometimes people will say, okay, well, for my deck, I don't want to spend the extra money to print books, so I've created a PDF file. When you make the purchase, then use the code, and then you can get the download for me for the deck I created. So just be wary, of when you purchase. So
Yeah,
um
absolutely.
yeah, exactly, Carabelle.
Absolutely.
Oceans, lands full. It's mass merchandise. It's like Alibaba and the others. Amazon. I go on there. I use Amazon, but it's usually for stuff that I do need. But places like Temu that just throws out, you know, Um, yes, Diana's cards. I didn't even know Diana. That's how I met Diana or knew of Diana, was because I used to watch political shows. I don't do those anymore. But Danny Shea was using her deck one day, and I said, "Oh wow, a fellow reader made her own deck. That is so awesome." So
Oh,
yeah, we don't want anyone to do that to Diana. Why would you? So if you get tempted, just think, well, what if that was someone doing that to Diana? And then
and
Diana doesn't get the money or the credit for all the hard work and effort she put into creating that deck.
and Diana's having more printed. So I think if I remember right, Diana, I thought you said that they are in print,
Mm.
so they they will be available. But like Hay House, I mean, I that's where I get a lot of my stuff from, and they run some really good sales. So
Yes. Hay House, Llewellyn, usually fellow readers will, in the chat, like Gerald always says, know your limits, purchase responsibly, but, from time to time, they'll let you know, oh, so-and-so's having a sale, this and that. And I know Hay House has a special, I have to get going to, but I know Hay House has this thing where program where is if you pay like $30 or something, and like every like 3 months, you get like a couple new proto deck cards that are coming out before mass market, and you get to use them and stuff, and then you can kind of let them know what you think about the cards. So okay, I'm sorry. I was talking. I just saw Diana pop a text message to me. So where was I going? Oops. I'm sorry. I saw Diana's comment. I completely lost
Oh
track
my
of what I
gosh.
was saying.
I do it all the time. Don't even
I
apologize.
can't even remember what I was saying.
I'll do it. I'll go downstairs into the kitchen and go,
Sorry, everybody.
what
I'll
did
think of it
I come in here
eventually.
for? We all do it.
Oh, she does have them. Yes.
Oh, you have them
Yes.
now. We need to figure out a way how to promote those.
Remove illegally. Well, Diana, come back on my channel again, and then you can show everybody your art. Diana actually joined Jonathan Daly and I on Tuesday, and we did a live painting session together on my channel. That was Tuesday. So Diana started her painting of Ellen of the Trods on my channel, so that was very cool.
I have to
So,
check
yes.
that out.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, Diana, start hitting us fellow readers up. We'll get you on. We'll do a show. You can show us your cards. You can tell us, how much they are, how they come, and da da da, and share stories about the images if you want. Do whatever so that we can, get you promoted. So at some point, I will do mine. I just haven't been happy with what I come up with. So
You have a
when it's
deck of
right,
cards.
they'll write.
You have a deck of cards too?
No, people want me to make them because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm on Canva, but I've been trying and it just doesn't feel right. And I don't want to put something out that's half-ass, I
No,
want it to be something I can really be proud of and get behind. And I know it'll hit me. I'll do something one day and I'll have the, yes,
Oh,
this is
absolutely.
I know that's going to happen. So
I did my deck
awesome.
here for myself, but it's just my own personal, I put my energy into it and
I did too, Diana. That was great. Somebody just came in. I think it was, okay, there she goes. Another fellow artist and poet. This is Kaylee Fogo Pogo. She's got her divination channel up now called Woo Woo Wonderment. She just did her readings, live readings for chatters and subscribers last Friday with me on my channel. She was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be," and I said, "Don't say that, especially on the live. You're going to be fine." And she did. She did a great job. People were resonating with her readings, and her and I were getting similar cards. So, yes, this is
that's
Kaylee,
amazing.
everybody. She's joined our family now too, from chatter to reader. So
I love that.
Oh, look
I
at
love
this!
it.
Did I not just say?
You did.
So why
You
did I
did.
not get the numbers? Somebody.
It always happens.
So yeah, hi Jonathan. We were just
Hello.
ready to end, and Diana has her a whole set of cards out that she got back in stock. And I said, well, come on and share about your art. And I said, and everybody, Diana and Jonathan joined me Tuesday. Everyone's like, oh, check that out, and boom, you pop in. So aloha.
Aloha.
Yes. And oh, great, Kaylee, hosting a Q&A with Gerald next week. There you go.
Awesome.
So everybody, it is 3:37. I do have to scoot for a telehealth appointment. And so it's actually my wonderful counselor, Kathy. I've been with her for almost about 7 years now. And she loves the cards. She loves me showing pictures. She loves my, that I have a channel. So I get to teach her things. I show her my crystals. I'd be like, Kathy, look at my new deck, and I'll show her.
Oh,
And I
I
even got
love
to
it that you
bring
guys
one of
can
my
share
decks.
that.
And I was able to bring in one of my decks for one of our women's groups, and they're all on color. And one of the ladies was like, "This isn't a tarot card, is it?" I'm really because there's going to be people in our chat there come from church and stuff, and they're and Kathy's like, "No, they're just color pictures, and look at the color that you picked, and how does it make you feel and stuff." And so, I brought my one deck in the past, so it's great. She supports me, and I told Kathy, I ever do win that lottery, that Powerball, you're going to quit your job. You're going to come work for me. We're going to open up a women's, center. You know, I want you there to do the groups, to do the counseling. We'll get holistic people in and all that good stuff. So I have
Oh, that would
dreams.
be beautiful.
Yeah, so I can talk to her about anything and everything, my woo woo, all of it. So, like I said, I didn't have her before. And I was able to finally say, Spirit, just give me somebody I can talk to that can accept me for who I am. And I don't have to be afraid of, you know, who I am.
It's so
And boom,
important.
she came into me. She came to me about 4 years later, you know. So,
And we
most
all
definitely.
need that. We all need counseling from time to
Hmm.
time, or
Yes,
always,
someone to talk
whatever
to.
works.
Exactly.
I've had it myself, and it's been wonderful.
It's amazing what DBT will do. And people are like, what's DBT? Dialectal behavioral therapy. It sounds like, but it's really great. It's mindfulness. So when you get your oracle cards that talk about radical acceptance and mindfulness, like Colette Baird Reed, that's all that what's based on. They teach you, you know, interpersonal relationships, emotion regulation, how to, you know, address people when they come to, you know, when you're in certain situations. I mean, it's been so helpful, and I want to bring that into my channel too this year. Start having conversations about, you know, mental health, and of course me just from a personal point of view, you know, um, because of not being a doctor, but I am a peer, so I can talk peer to peer on my channel and just share the things that I've learned in my groups. And a lot of these courses, you know, on DBT can be taken through, you know, local communities, sometimes for free. um, you know, see what, you know, what your local providers, you know, ask them, can you look into this for me? Is there something that I can do, a small copay or something? And these are really just tools to help all of us with our relationships on a daily basis. So
Heal and grow, and don't you think? I
yes.
mean, really, at all different points and times of our life, some points we're the teacher, and some points we're the student.
Yeah. And there are things that I've told Kathy, my counselor, because some people are like, oh, I don't like counselors, I don't trust them. Well, when you do find that right one, because there is somebody out there, Kathy knows things about me that nobody else does, and I know I can trust her. And I consider her family. She's
That's
more than a
wonderful.
counselor. So, and yep, I see her in 3 minutes. So everybody,
Yep.
thank you again for joining Kelly and I. Kelly, thank you so much. We'll love to
Thank
have
you.
you on again. I
Thank
just
you.
adore you. I love your energy. And everybody in chat, again, thank you
Thank
for helping
you.
me reach 800. I appreciate you all.
Yes.
And
Woo!
we'll be seeing you on one of our next lives. So have a great
Sounds
rest of
good.
your day, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Doo, doo, doo.